see that Ripperoo failed to prove much of a challenge yet again. But back to business. There are crystals to be gathered, 20 to be exact. The planets will align shortly, all 13 of them, and this will create a power great enough to rip the Earth apart. Properly utilized, however, the crystals can absorb and contain the energy.
Crash, is that you? I've been looking everywhere. I don't have much time to tell you this. You have to be careful. Trusting Cortex seems a little unwise, Crash. I can't keep the data path open much longer. Crash, you need to go.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Dandana Squidz, and we are back with our Crash Bandicoot 2 Let's Play. Now, please excuse me while I partake in some animal abuse. I remember from the original game, if you bounce on old mate's head enough times, as you can see, you get a bunch of lives. So there we go. I'm glad that they kept that in the game. And I wonder, this crystal's spitting out some sparks here. I wonder if something will happen. Anyway, we're gonna crack on with what level were we on? I think Snowbeers is where we're gonna kick off on. And in this episode, I'm gonna do something a little bit different, something interesting, and hopefully you guys will learn something. We're gonna be exploring some of the hidden lore and mysterious origins and backstories of a lot of the characters and artifacts in the Crash Bandicoot saga. I did a lot of research for this video, and I learned a lot of interesting things that I didn't know. And as somebody who, was quite a big fan of Crash my entire life, there are things that I learned that were quite surprising to me, and hopefully you'll leave this video today with that same effect. So it is going to be a deep dive, okay? And this isn't just your typical game lore discussion. We are going to be unraveling some secrets, some mysteries that have been buried for years. So let's buckle up and embark on this thrilling journey together. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is the origins of our little beloved orange character here, Crash Bandicoot, as I struggle to get up this freaking stupid slope. What am I doing wrong here? It's like there's a barrier that's blocking. Oh, it's okay. You have to double slide. Anyway, Crash Bandicoot. He has an origin story that is both intriguing and mysterious, and perhaps you guys know kind of the generic story, but I think we're going to expand on some things that maybe you don't know. So his story begins on Insanity Island, where Crash was just an ordinary Eastern Barred Bandicoot. So an Eastern Barred Bandicoot is a Bandicoot that is native to Australia, where I am from, specifically Tasmania. But everything changed for Crash when he was captured by Dr. Neo Cortex, as we know, and his assistant Embryo. Cortex and Embryo, they were working on a top secret project, and it was aimed at essentially creating an army of super animals to help them take over the world. Now, Crash was one of the many creatures that was subjected to the experiments, and Cortex was using a ray gun called the Evolvo Ray, which was a device that could mutate animals into anthropomorphic forms. Essentially, it's giving, the word anthropomorphic is essentially giving animals human characteristics or human-like characteristics. And this is where it actually starts to get a bit interesting. So Crash wasn't actually their first experiment. And if you go back to Crash 1 and look at the lab, it is littered with references to previous failed attempts, which hints at a dark history of Cortex's scientific endeavors. Some people believe characters like Ripperoo or Pinstripe were actually part of his experiment, because each of these characters has a unique backstory that's tied to Cortex's twisted ambitions. And Cortex used another ray gun called the Cortex Vortex, which was designed to brainwash these new creations. And the Vortex failed on Crash. And some people theorize that the failure wasn't just a stroke of luck, but there are some theories that suggest that Crash has some unique traits or perhaps an inherent resilience that made him immune to the mind control. Could Crash be more than just another experiment? Perhaps he holds a secret that even Cortex doesn't know about. So yeah, that's a little bit of interesting backstory on Crash Bandicoot, but let's talk about one of the most prominent features in the Crash Bandicoot series, and that's the crystals and their gems. Okay, so they are scattered throughout the games, throughout the universe, and these artifacts aren't just your collectibles, but they hold ancient and mystical powers. So you've got 25 power crystals in most games. They prominently feature in this game, Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash 3 Warped. And they believe to be remnants of an ancient civilization, an advanced civilization. And some levels contain like hidden hieroglyphs and symbols that hint at this lost civilization's existence. You've also got the time relics, okay? And what is a relic but an ancient artifact? And what specifically did they decide to go with for the relic? Well, the relics are an ankh, which is an ancient Egyptian artifact. And perhaps we have a link between the ancient civilization of Egypt and this Crash Bandicoot universe, because there are a lot of theories around how the Egyptians were able to build these monumental architectural wonders so many thousands of years ago. Some suggestions even say that aliens came down to help these Egyptians build these things, and that there was advanced technologies that were utilized that we don't even have today, but they were lost somewhere throughout history. Could there be a link between the ancient Egyptians and the Crash Bandicoot universe? You guys decide. And what about the colored gems? Some theories suggest that these gems are linked to the elementals, which are the masks in Crash Bandicoot. Is it Crash Bandicoot Warp? No, Cortex Strikes Back. And they represent earth, fire, water, and air. And each gem may contain a fragment of their power, making them incredibly significant. And there are hidden messages and symbols found in certain levels, which indicate that these gems could be keys to unlocking even greater secrets within the game world. So imagine this, an ancient civilization using the crystals and gems for technology that is far beyond our understanding. And what if these artifacts were created to maintain balance and power in the world? The more you dig, the deeper the mystery gets. And speaking of mysterious ancient magic, we have to talk about Aku and Uka Uka, who are the guardian masks. So these ancient masks are more than just helpful guides or formidable foes. They are spirits of ancient witch doctors or deities that are trapped in mask form. Aku, who we have floating around us now, is the protector, and Uka Uka is the destroyer. And they represent the duality of nature. Their balance is essential for the world's stability. Think like your yin and your yang. Aku grants Crash temporary invincibility and guidance, while Uka Uka provides similar powers to Cortex and his minions. But their abilities go far beyond what we see in the game. Some theories suggest that they can manipulate time, reality, and control other powerful beings. And their backstory is shrouded in a lot of mystery. Were they once human? Did they participate in ancient wars or significant events that shaped their current roles? The lore hints at a rich history involving battles between good and evil, with Aku and Uka Uka being at the center of it all. And obviously we can't talk about lore without talking about Dr. Neo Cortex and his backstory. So he's the primary antagonist of the series, and he has a past that is filled with dark and intriguing details. So Cortex comes from a long line of scientists and inventors, many of whom were involved in, let's say, morally ambiguous projects. His need to surpass his ancestors' achievements is what actually drove him to embrace villainy. He was actually once a respected scientist, but his radical ideas were dismissed as being too dangerous. And being betrayed by his close colleagues and friends, he descended into villainy, and it was fueled by a desire for revenge, as most evil villains' backstories are. Now, this personal vendetta is a significant factor in his relentless pursuit of world domination. Now, his obsession with Crash, who repeatedly thwarts his plans, adds another layer to his character. This rivalry just isn't about power, it's deeply personal. His partnership with other villains like Engine and Entropy on secret projects hint at even more dangerous schemes waiting in the wings. And guys, finally, we're going to talk about the Wumpa Islands. Now, these are the primary setting for many of Crash's adventures. These islands are rich with hidden secrets and ancient mysteries. Now, the geography ranges from your lush jungles and sandy beaches to treacherous volcanoes and ancient ruins. The islands are home to unique flora and fauna, including the iconic Wumpa fruit, which may have magical properties or unknown origins. The ruins scattered across the island suggest the presence of an ancient advanced civilization. These ruins often contain hidden rooms and passages, hinting at long-forgotten secrets. And there are also hidden bases and labs, indicating that Cortex and some of the other villains have been conducting secret experiments across the islands for years. And besides Aku, there are lesser-known guardians or protectors hinted at in the game, suggesting a deeper lore involving ancient defenders. But yeah, there you have it, guys. That's some of the hidden lore and interesting theories that kind of shroud the Crash Bandicoot universe, the mysterious universe. And I did a lot of research for this video because I wanted to pick some lore and some kind of hidden theories that were interesting. Because there's a lot of ridiculous lore out there. Let's be real. You know, I started doing my research, and there were things there that I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This isn't interesting. Like there's things about Crash Bandicoot's girlfriend Torna, who apparently left Crash Bandicoot after Crash 1, which I didn't know, and she got with Pinstripe. Apparently, this is a thing. And now there's theories to suggest that after she left Pinstripe, because he was so abusive, she became a lesbian. So obviously that kind of wasn't the direction I wanted to go down when discussing some of the more pertinent lore facts of the game. I wanted to talk about things that were a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more hidden, things that perhaps you didn't know that kind of elevated the mystery of this game. But yeah, like I said, some of these things are confirmed and some of these things are theory. You can speculate on what you think is a part of the universe and what isn't, based on all the games. And if you guys know any other theories or lore points or anything like that, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to know. But yeah, guys, I hope you like this video. It's a little bit of a different kind of commentary than what we usually do here on the channel. And if you liked it, please let me know down in the comments. But we'll leave it here for this part, and we will continue in the next part, guys. We will see you there.